voters. You have until 6 o'clock to head to your election board or vote tomorrow in the primary. After the primary, Oklahoma's voting system could be getting an upgrade. State election workers say the new system would still involve paper ballots with a computer system that totals the votes. The hope is the new software will tally votes faster with the results than sent out precinct by precinct and county by county. Political analysts say it could help us learn the winners faster, but it will take some time to get the system up and running in all 77 of Oklahoma's counties. Well, we want to get you ready before you head to the polls tomorrow. Paul Ziriax with the Oklahoma State Election Board joins me now to help make things go smoother for you. Paul, thank you for taking a few minutes away today.
Thanks. It's a pleasure to be here.
For us as well. How long does it typically take to vote? Let's talk about the average voter, someone
Sure.
who has to report to the office, say, at 9 o'clock. When should they be at those polls in the morning?
Well, of course, polls open at 7 tomorrow, and they'll be open until 7 in the evening. Generally, you should expect to wait in line for at least a short while at your polling place and give yourself ample time. Certainly, if you give yourself about an hour to vote during the primary, that should be plenty of time for most voters.
And, of course, 7 to 7, those are the times. Let's say I'm standing in line at 7 o'clock. Will I get to vote?
If you're in line at 7 p.m. tomorrow night, absolutely. That counts as being in line on time, and our poll workers will process you and get you your ballot, and there will still be time to vote as long as you're in line at your precinct by 7 p.m. tomorrow, yes.
And try to make that process smoother. Will my voter ID card help?
Well, there are some voters who have to show voter identification. Federal law requires our poll workers here in Oklahoma to check the identification of any voter who registered to vote by mail and is voting for the first time in a federal election. So the type of ID could be a driver's license or other government-issued ID, a utility bill, or even your voter ID card issued by the state election board or the county election board.
Would you recommend a photo ID for everyone then?
No, only those voters who registered by mail and did not provide a form of identification when they submitted their registration.
And then what about our viewers who possibly don't remember where their polling place is, or they're new to the neighborhood? How can they find out?
Well, it's very easy. You can visit our State Election Board website at elections.ok.gov. And we have a polling place locator on the website that will help you find your polling place. If you don't have access to the internet, you can call your county election board, and they'll be glad to look up your voter registration and tell you exactly where to vote.
Now, some voters obviously had the opportunity to vote early. Can you give us a feel for that turnout? So will we have a big turnout for tomorrow? What are you thinking?
Well, the conversations I've had with some of the county election board secretaries across the state indicate that voting, the early voting has been steady, but not necessarily heavy. We generally in Oklahoma see a higher turnout in primaries in years when we have an open governor's seat like we have this year. In '06, we had an incumbent governor seeking re-election and turnout was down. My guess is we'll be up a little bit closer to the '02 levels, and my hope is we'll have more than 500,000 voters cast their ballots when it's all said and done tomorrow. Which
is probably a good reason to get there a little early. Thank you, Mr. Ziriax. We appreciate you taking a few minutes.
Thanks. It's been an honor.
You can also find your polling site along with all the information you need to know about voting as well as the candidates on our extensive Voting 101.